It's the cool Bible guy!
What's up, guys? It's Steve, the cool Bible guy. Today we're going to be talking about Matthew chapter 6, verse 27. It is a Bible verse where Jesus is teaching about the futility of worrying, one of my favorite verses. Before we discuss it, let's set our intentions for this Bible hangout in the comments below, because a person who aims at nothing hits it with amazing accuracy. So let's be intentional and on purpose today. Now, let's get into the verse.
Let's go!
The verse reads, "Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life?" I think that's freaking brilliant. There was a study done, and I forget who did the study. Again, I'm butchering this.
Are you serious?
It was Napoleon Hill, and he's the guy who wrote Think and Grow Rich. He did a study where people who worry about things, there's like all these different things they worry about, regardless of whatever they are. The truth is that 92% of all of the things that people worry about never actually happen.
Don't worry!
In reality, only 8% of everything that you're worrying the living daylights out of you that is worth worrying about. Just to give you some perspective there.
Thank you.
When I read that, I was like, really? Basically, 92% of everything I ever worried about is BS. Really isn't a reason to worry that much, because everything I did worry about in my life, a lot of it never really did happen. On the religious side of this thing, this is Jesus is addressing the human tendency to be anxious about various aspects of your life, things like food, shelter, clothing, anything in the future that is uncertain. He basically uses the example of worrying about the length of one's life, pointing out that worrying does not have the power to add any time to one's life. This message is a call to trust in God's providence and to focus on the spiritual priorities rather than being consumed by the unnecessary anxiety about material concerns. Don't get consumed by that kind of stuff. Don't live in the future. We live in the present as much as you possibly can. Also, another thing, the power of belief and the power of worry are equal. If you put as much time as you put into worrying into believing, you'll have a much better time with your life. It takes the same amount of energy to believe as it does to worry. Kind of just pick your poison here. I think we all know what the better choice is here. So go with the more positive one, which is believing. Talking a little bit more about what God's intentions are with this verse is that when you apply the teachings of Matthew 6:27 and the broader passage itself to your life today, it involves cultivating a mindset of trust and basically prioritizing your spiritual values and then managing worries and anxieties. And you have to trust that God's got you. I have a couple things here that I think are ways you can apply this to your life. And the first thing on my list is actually trusting God's providence. You want to develop a deep trust that God is aware of your needs, because He is, and He's capable of providing for you. This trust helps to alleviate unnecessary anxiety about the uncertainties of life. And when you just stop for a minute,
Stop.
once a day, whether it's for 30 seconds or 30 minutes, if you just stop and be like, hey man, please keep my path straight, keep my oceans calm, and help me navigate this situation, he'll handle it. And when you're consistent with it, you'll start to develop a relationship. As is true with any relationship you have, whether it's with God or anyone or another person on this earth. One of the cool things about this verse is that it actually prioritizes your spiritual values, because you do have to kind of trust in the divine on this one. And if you don't, then you start to lose your focus and you start to fall into the worries and anxieties of the future. So you want to reflect on your priorities and ensure that your life is centered around spiritual values and principles. This may evolve considering the impact of your decisions on your spiritual well-being, rather than solely focusing on the material concerns. Remember, your life needs an anchor to keep you from drifting to the wrong places. Let God be that anchor.
Thank you!
Number 3, mindfulness and present living. You want to live in the present, because people who live in the past are depressed, people who live in the future are anxious, and people who live in the present are joyous. So happy people live in the present. Number 4, it also allows you to seek God's kingdom. Basically, you want to make an effort to seek answers in your daily life. Ask and you shall receive, knock and it will be open to you, seek and you shall find, all of that good stuff.
It's good. It's good.
If you can't find anything good that you're contributing to the world, then maybe you might be actually taking value away. And this is where some reflection may actually be necessary, because nobody likes a worry word. Like, if somebody's constantly worried about something all the time, like the sky's constantly falling, people kind of distance themselves from those kinds of people. So, and then that will manifest itself into reality, because that's how the world works, is when you think positive thoughts, positive thing happens. And when you think negative thoughts, and negative things happen. If you're constantly worried and you're not seeking God's kingdom, then you're basically going to end up in a world of hurt.
No. No. No, 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 no.
And then nobody around you wants that either, for you or for them. Number 5, prayer and surrender. You want to develop a habit of prayer as a means of communicating with God. As with any relationship you have, whether it's a family member or friend, you want to have that line of communication. Without communication, there's no relationship. Period. End of story. You can't build trust, which is the foundation of all relationships, without communication. So make sure you establish that line of communication, and then surrender your worries and your anxieties to God through prayer, and be like, look, man, I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't know what your plans are, but please do share them. And, kind of walk me through this, please, so I know what's going on. Every morning I say, okay, what's the next step in the plan? Reveal it to me somehow so I can take that step and stay on the path you designed for me. So that's like the line of communication I'm talking. And obviously anxiety is a mental process. So one thing to help you kind of ease your mental stress on this situation, if you are someone who really, really, really struggles with anxiety, practice responsible stewardship of the resources and talents you've been given. God has given all of us a unique talent or skill that's something we are naturally good at, with or without work. Obviously, more work and more practice will always sharpen the skill more, but there are some of us who are just predisposed to be really good at some things. And whatever those things are, put some extra time into those things. This involves making wise decisions about your time, your finances, your ability, and then while recognizing ultimately that God is the provider of those things. When you are focused in on the skills and talents and your gifts, that tends to take your mind off of the negative things in life, because your gifts are usually things that you like to do, things that you enjoy doing. By the way, that's why they're called gifts, because they're meant to be given to other people. It's a gift you have because God gave it to you, and your job is to share that gift with other people. Put that in the comment section. What kind of gift do you have? I'd love to see some pretty cool gifts out there, and start sharing it, because the world needs it. Lastly, guys, I just want to talk about the last point here, which is educate yourself. Please take the time to study and understand the teachings of the Bible. Maybe just watching a couple of my videos, one video of mine per day. I do post as much as daily. Study and understand the teachings of the Bible. This can actually deepen your faith and provide guidance on how to navigate various aspects of your life. To see those videos, you're going to have to subscribe. Cough, cough, cough. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Sorry. So let's end on a prayer, and then we'll get out of here.
Get out of here.
God, you are worthy of all my praise. I'm grateful that no matter my circumstances, I can be joyful because I know you are good. Thank you for loving me despite the mistakes I've made, and for being close to me at all times, especially when I leave the present moment and worry myself unnecessarily. I love you, Lord. Thanks again for being my anchor and my foundation. In Jesus' name, amen.